You're looking at the Westin Hotel in the nation's capital. From the main ballroom inside, the 1987 CFL College Draft. University careers are behind almost 300 graduates eligible in the draft. Only about 70 names will be called. Today, the best of the class of '86 will find out if they have a future in professional football. Today, live on TSN, you'll meet the best, the very best from the class of '86. As we present the 1987 CFL College Draft, live from Ottawa. Many of the top players from the class of '86 are here today. Front and center in the main ballroom, many more watching in from coast to coast in Canada this afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Wells, and welcome to Ottawa. Anxious moments for the players involved in today's draft, but anxious moments, too, for the coaches and the general managers. A little luck and a couple of good choices today can go a long way to building a contender in Canadian football. And joining me now, Joe Womack, who is the Director of Scouting for the Canadian Football League. Joe, they say that there is an excellent crop of individuals available here this afternoon.
I think so, John. It's a lot deeper draft than it was last year. I think that we'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 players that will make their effect on the CFL right away.
As you look at the crop, everybody says offensive linemen. There are a lot of good offensive linemen available. What is the other talent available today?
Well, I think we have an excellent crop of fullbacks. It's one of the first times in many years that we've got 4 or 5 fullbacks that I feel can play in the CFL. And then we have some excellent wide receivers also. So I think it's going to be exciting, offensively in particular. Okay, Joe, we'll look forward to your comments throughout the afternoon. And as well, John Michalak, who comes in to join me now. John, as we look at the top of the order for the draft today, what are the teams at the top looking for? Let's begin with the Ottawa Rough Riders. What do they need most?
They need some offensive linemen, John. There's no question about that. But it's no secret. Draft the good Canadian players, and you end up with a good football team. So they'll be looking for the best people who can help them as quickly as possible. Some teams, though, may draft players who don't play here in the CFL. And they won't go to the NFL next year. They may return to college. That'll be a big key in this draft.
Now, the Edmonton Eskimos have traded well, have 2 first-round draft picks early, and then their own coming up later. What do they need? They have strong Canadian talent in a lot of positions, but they could use some help.
They really control the oxygen supply of this draft. They need some offensive linemen. They need some linebacker help. It'll be very interesting to see what they do. They set the tone of this draft with picks 2 and 3.
All right, and the BC Lions will have the 4th pick. Let's take a quick look at what they might be looking for.
They'll be looking for a strong fullback, perhaps. They'll also look at some offensive linemen. They're getting a little long in the tooth there as well.
All right, up at the front of the room here, the general managers and the player personnel directors and the coaches talking a little bit right now. Do you think that somebody might pull off a little bit of a deal here to get things going and add a little excitement here today?
I think there was a possibility of a trade between the Stampeders and the Tiger Cats. I think that that's kind of abated now. I think everyone will select in the position that they are listed on the big board.
Is there any question about who will be the number 1 pick today? Or is that clear in your mind? A lot of people talking Leo Groenwagen from the UBC Thunderbirds. Is there another choice for the Ottawa Rough Riders?
I don't think so unless they, come up with something that's a big surprise. I think he's the big first-round choice in this draft.
All right, let's join Peter Watts, who's front and center on the main stage here in Ottawa.
Offensive lineman, one of the strengths of this year's draft, one of the best available, Leo Groenwagen, the outstanding offensive tackle from the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds. A little nervous?
A little nervous, yeah. We've been here, came in on Thursday, so it's been a few days of waiting, but definitely looking forward to the draft at 12:30.
What were your thoughts as you got on the plane in Vancouver on Thursday and flew down to Ottawa? What were you thinking about in terms of where you might wind up and what your football future might be like?
I don't know. I didn't try to think of it too much because I knew if I started thinking about it then, I'd be a bundle of nerves like I am now. But I don't know. I just came out here hoping that the best would work out. I came out with 3 other people, and we're just here and just hope everything works out fine for everybody.
When did you first start thinking about the CFL as a possible opportunity?
I'd say in my 3rd year. 3rd year went pretty well. And at that time, you have friends who get drafted and who start playing professional. So it was about my 3rd year I started thinking about professional football.
I want to ask you about the transition, Leo. You've made it once from high school to college. Now you're being asked to make it again, where you go from one of the best players on the team to a relative new face, a recruit. What is that like?
Well, it's going to be a big transition. It's going to be a tough one. Things are going to be a lot quicker. People are going to be a lot bigger. So it'll be tough. I'm not looking to make any all-star team. I'm just looking to make a team. So we'll just take it one day at a time and hope for the best.
Does it matter who picks you?
No, I'll play for anybody who gives me a shot.
Wish you the best of luck. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Leo Groenwagen, outstanding offensive tackle from the University of British Columbia.
And some interesting thoughts from Leo Groenwagen, who quite possibly could be the #1 player chosen today by the Ottawa Rough Riders, who will have the first choice. Ottawa has not said that they would pick Leo Groenwagen, but there is an outstanding possibility that he will be the #1 Canadian college player taken in today's draft in Ottawa. We'll wait and see. The 1987 Canadian College Draft on TSN gets underway for real right after this.
My memory takes me back to 1985. Nick Benjamin, number 68 of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Born in Trinidad, the first pick of the first round in '85 from Concordia. He was the East's Rookie of the Year in '85 and is becoming a formidable, rugged force along Ottawa's rebuilding offensive line. Nick Benjamin, the man from Trinidad. 77. Paul Bennett, the Badger, they call him. He was the second pick in the first round that year from Wilfrid Laurier. He leads the league in career punt return yards and catches. He's won numerous honors, and he's a perennial all-star. 1985 may have been his best season. He was voted the league's most outstanding Canadian. And you know, he may be the best ever draftee selected by the CFL.
We look back to some of John Michelec's memories. Paul Bennett had an outstanding career, and it still continues in Canadian football. It seems like a long time ago that Paul Bennett was selected by the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, 1977, perhaps the best year ever, John. Outstanding Canadian talent in that draft. This is going to be a good draft, as Joe Womack mentioned a moment ago. Good quality football players who can make a difference for their team.
All right, the Ottawa Rough Riders will have the first pick here this afternoon, and everyone is talking Leo Groenwagen. I guess really it, in some ways, is a foregone conclusion. They want somebody who can play football for them next year.
And they are rebuilding that offensive line. Marv Alamang comes in there from the Tiger Cats, an 11-year veteran. He has Benjamin on one side, and he should have Groenwagen on the other. Marv's a leader who can coach along the line of scrimmage and can make a substantial difference.
Now, there's still a little bit of a question mark on Benjamin and how his rehabilitation over the winter months will work. And if that happens, and there is a Groenwagen or an outstanding young Canadian who can move into an offensive line spot and play with the Ottawa Rough Riders for real as a starter in 1987, could be a big difference in that football club.
Absolutely. They need to be pushed along that offensive line. They did not get the work ethic. They did not get the effort out of that offensive line. They need some challenges to compete with the players they have.
Thanks very much, Ken. I'd like to welcome everyone here today on behalf of the
I believe the commissioner is
Football
speaking right now, so let's go up to the main stage.
I'd like to thank the City of Ottawa for the tremendous hospitality that we've had here for the last couple of days. It really has been great. The reception the players have received and the dinner last night was absolutely first class. And I know that a lot of the all-star players are here today and enjoying every bit of it. This is a special day for a lot of young people from Canadian football, and a special day for the Canadian Football League because our future depends to a large degree on what happens here this afternoon. I would like to welcome all of those players that are here and extend all of our best wishes, not only today, but from the 1987 and future seasons in the Canadian Football League. And I'd also like to wish all of our participating clubs good luck this afternoon in this year's draft and in the '87 season. I'd also like to thank TSN for their continued support of the Canadian Football League and for their live telecast of this draft today. And now, without any further ado, we'd like to get the draft underway. And I'd like to call on the Ottawa Rough Riders, who have the first selection overall, to make their selection.
The Ottawa Rough Riders are proud to be selecting #1 from the Vanier Cup champions, University of British Columbia, offensive lineman Leo Groenwagen.
At 6'5", 260, this UBC grad has all the size and skills to become an outstanding offensive lineman in the CFL. Number 66, Leo Groenwagen, finished off his 4-year career helping lead the Thunderbirds to victory in the '86 Vanier Cup. His excellent speed was a big reason for the T-Birds' success along the ground. but pass protection is Groenwegen's strong suit. He was a Western All-Star in '86 and All-Canadian as well. UBC's Leo Groenwegen puts a brilliant collegiate behind him and looks to a bright future in the CFL.
Leo Groenwegen trying on the sweater. General Manager Paul Robson says it's a perfect fit. Number 87, Leo Groenwegen of the Ottawa Rough Riders, chosen number 1. And we'll hear from him now.
You're number 1 this year. How do you feel?
It feels really good. I feel very proud and very honored to go number 1. And I hope to contribute as much as possible next year to the Ottawa organization.
10 minutes ago, we talked, and I didn't ask you if you expected to go to Ottawa. I wonder now if, in your thoughts, that is indeed where you did expect to go.
Well, there's a lot of people who are coming up to me the last few days and saying that, in their opinion, that they felt I would go number 1. So, you know, it's very exciting, very exciting. So, you know, I had a good idea. So when they call my name, I feel very proud now.
You've spent a lot of your time the last 4 years with Frank Smith playing offensive tackle. There is some school of thought that maybe the guard position might be another spot that you could play on the offensive line. Do you have any feel for the kind of transition you'd have to make to be able to play there?
Well, I'll play anywhere anywhere there's a spot for me, whether it be guard or tackle, or if they want me to learn center, wherever they want me to play, I'll play for them.
Congratulations. Ottawa Rough Riders, Leo Groenwegen, you're number 1. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, John, not a great deal of suspense in that. The Ottawa Rough Riders, as we mentioned at the outset, it needed someone who could play for them immediately, almost immediately. And it's certainly, they have done exactly what was expected.
Big, strong guy with big, thick forearms, John. He's my kind of football player. He'll have some impact on this league. He's an outstanding competitor.
And a winner. I mean, Vanier Cup and All-Star honors for Groenwegen. I mean, that's a big part of making the adjustment to pro football when you are a winner.
Ottawa took the first pick in '85. It was Nick Benjamin. Here again in '87, they pick an offensive lineman. They hope he'll be as good as Benjamin.
All right, so the Edmonton Eskimos will have the next pick here this afternoon and the one after that. But it's going to be a little more interesting to see which way the Edmonton Eskimos go with their
The next choice belongs to the Edmonton Eskimos, and I'd like to call on Hugh Campbell.
Mr. Commissioner, with great pride, we draft Blake Marshall.
Blake Marshall, running back. And he has some outstanding numbers. Brother played for the Edmonton Eskimos briefly until an injury slowed down his career.
Now they like Blake Marshall, 6'1", 220, the best ball carrier available in the draft.
At 6'1", 220, this all-Canadian fullback spearheaded Western's powerful running game for 2 seasons, gaining almost 1,800 yards. In 1986, Blake Marshall led the Mustangs to an appearance in the Vanier Cup. He led the OUAA in rushing with 986 yards and in scoring with 10 touchdowns. He is a bruising, powerful runner with a good burst of speed and abilities to find the open field. Western's Blake Marshall has the talent to be a starter in the CFL.
And we'll see if the sweater fits right now. Hugh Campbell and player personnel director Frankie Morris with their newest acquisition, Blake Marshall from Western.
Everybody gets an 87
I was wondering
on
about
sweater,
that, John.
1987.
Hey, that's a nice touch,
That's
too, isn't
cute.
it? Yeah, that's a good
cute.
touch
That's
because
cute.
on the other side of things, how would you know what numbers players might be requesting? And
Be interesting to see what they do in the year 2000.
So Blake Marshall is chosen second by the Edmonton Eskimos. Incidentally, that draft pick came from the Montreal Alouettes, and it was in exchange for quarterback Brian Ransom. So Blake Marshall, number 2 today.
Blake Marshall, congratulations. Welcome to the Edmonton Eskimos, following your brother once again.
Oh, it's great. You know, it's great to follow in his footsteps.
I wonder if you had some thoughts as you drove up here with your mom and dad yesterday about where you might wind up.
You know, I had some thoughts. You know, everybody asks you where you want to go, where do you think you're going to go. Deep down in my heart, it was Edmonton all the way, I think.
Blake, how much might your game change? You carried the football a lot at Western for 4 years. Now you're going to a team where there's some good Canadians already there, and certainly a team that likes to throw the football and where you might be asked to do some different things. How do you feel about that?
Looking forward to that. You know, that's things that I worked on in my last couple of years at Western that my brother and Coach Taylor worked on with me to help prepare me for the CFL.
And that would include pass receiving.
Right.
Good luck.
All
Congratulations.
Right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Blake Marshall, the Heck Crichton nominee, and now, of course, a member of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, Blake Marshall will make an impact on the Edmonton Eskimos. They have Milson Jones, they have Chris Johnson, and Chris Skinner, 3 running backs already.
Now, they've gone to a Canadian running attack, and in other ways, the Eskimos have led the league, moving to that all-Canadian offensive line initially, moving to the slot back position in the CFL. So, you know, they've gone to the Canadian running back as a very definite position. They're committed to it now.
They'll likely want to play 2 of them there, but they have 4. I think they made that pick to keep them away from BC.
As a result of an earlier trade made, the Edmonton Eskimos also have the next first-round selection. Hugh?
2 in a row, Eskimos.
Mr. Commissioner, the Edmonton Eskimos would like to select Todd Strom.
Todd Storm.
Todd Storm. It's Todd Storm. Yeah,
Todd Storm with an E on the end of it. And he is another of the excellent crop of outstanding offensive linemen available in the draft today. Todd Storm.
That surprises me. Larry Clarkson is perhaps a tougher football player. Storm has another year of eligibility next year. He'll likely go back to school. But the Eskimos took one player who could play right now and one who they'll want to play in the future if Storm comes back.
All right, Hugh Campbell, Todd Storm not able to be with us today, but certainly he impressed Ray Newman and also yourself and Frank Morris. Why did you choose to select him now?
Well, we have kind of followed Todd's career. He's from Red Deer, Alberta, and a person that is playing now at Utah State. We rather anticipate that we won't see him for a year, but feel that he'll be well worth waiting for.
How do you feel about your offensive line as it stands at the moment?
Well, we have a pretty good offensive line. A couple of them have been there a while, and so we're kind of looking to the future with Todd, hoping that Todd can get here by the time we need him.
Is Bill Stevenson going to be able to come back from the injury that he suffered early last season?
Well, we certainly expect so and hope so. The doctors feel that he's made really fine progress since his training camp injury. He's been working hard to keep his weight down, and if he comes back in shape, it would really help us. He had his best training camp last year of his whole career and was ready to have an all-pro season.
I want to ask you about Blake Marshall. Some impressive numbers for 4 years at the University of Western Ontario, and good genes in the family, obviously, because Greg was a good player until the knee injury that knocked him out of the pros a few years ago. What do you hope he can do for you?
Well, we took Blake because his mom and dad know how to raise kids, and we took him because Greg did such a great job for us and helped us get to a couple Grey Cups. So that was our thinking there. It had a little bit of history to it, but when we watched Blake play, he has ability to move when he gets into the line of scrimmage and find a place to make the most possible yards out of the play. And he can catch the ball out of the backfield, which in our offense is very important. And of course, as you know, we use nothing but Canadian running backs, so we can't get too many of them.
Well, he's a good one, and he earns a spot as the #2 selection in this pick by virtue of his own merits. Great player, good selection, I think. Good for you. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Hugh Campbell of the Edmonton Eskimos.
So the Eskimos have their 2 first-round picks. They've still got 1 to come. The Ottawa Rough Riders have chosen Leo Groenwagen as the #1 pick overall. The Eskimos will get another pick, #8 in the first round. And coming up, the first pick of the BC Lions, who have 2 picks in the first round. This is CFL Draft 87 on TSN.
1979, another great year for memories. The 3rd player selected that year out of Simon Fraser, Nick Hebler by the BC Lions. One of the league's looser players, but a real load when he wants to be. Hebler's always around the ball, recovering fumbles, blocking kicks, and sacking the quarterback. Hebler's a force in the CFL and a Saskatchewan Rough Rider these days doing the job. The 4th player protected that year was a tight end at Whitworth, selected by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Leo Ezrins is now one of the league's very best linebackers against the pass. Very intelligent, gutsy, plays with pain, and is a fine first-class Canadian. Leo Ezrins, a Tiger Cat leader on an '86 Grey Cup championship team.
And we'll have more of John Michelik's memories as we continue this afternoon here from the 1987 CFL College Draft in Ottawa. Right now, let's look back to last night at the 1986 CFL All-Canadian team unveiled for the very first time in February. A gala evening here at the Westin Hotel as the best on offense and the best on defense in 1986 were introduced for the first time. Let's look back.
It was the first All-Star dinner in 4 years, and more than 900 people showed up for the event. 26 players nominated by the Football Reporters of Canada were honored as CFL All-Stars. and all 26 were on hand to accept their awards. Winnipeg's Joe Poplawski, in his own way, paid tribute to the organizing committee.
And of course, the host management, your very own Ottawa Blue Bombers. Just kidding about that, Paul.
CFL has rich tradition, and I think the way to keep that tradition up is to mark the players and the CFL.
It's definitely been beneficial, you know, for the league as well as the players. You got the chance to meet the guys off the field. I think the last time we met in an affair like this was 1983. So it was a positive thing. All the guys that were invited showed up, and it's been definitely a great evening.
Also on hand, a dozen potential CFLers, led by offensive tackle Leo Groenwagen from the University of British Columbia. The entertainment provided by Royal Canadian Air Force humorist David Broadfoot.
United States, they have all these teams that don't mean much to me because I don't know the cities, but here I know all the cities. They're there, they have all these bowls, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Gator Bowl, the Super Bowl. But in our entire country, we have no bowls in football. No bowls at all. We have one cup, but no bowl. But and that cup, of course, is named after our basic colors. And we have that one incredible day once a year that you can't describe. The only thing that can compare Grey Cup to, I think, is Christmas Eve in a liquor store, in a crowded liquor store. But anyway.
A great evening for Canadian football fans, as a few of the present stars were honored, all on the eve of selecting some athletes who will be stars of the future. The 1987 CFL All-Star Dinner.
Some good moments last night, but let's get ahead to the draft this afternoon. The BC Lions have the 4th pick, first round, by the Toronto Argonauts, and this was the exchange for quarterback Tim Count. What are the Lions looking for?
The other half of the drafting dynamic duo behind Edmonton. What did Edmonton leave them is the question. They'll be looking for an offensive lineman or a linebacker.
British Columbia Lions have the next pick, having acquired it in the trade. Now called on the BC Lions.
British Columbia Lions, as their first round selection, choose from Purdue University linebacker Tony Visco.
Tony Visco from Purdue University. Now they'll have to wait a while on Visco, but this guy can play the game, has good stats, good size, and certainly Joe Gallant has to be happy with a chance at Visco.
Young Leo Ezrins, that's what Tony Visco is. He too has to decide whether or not to play in the CFL next year or go back to Purdue and have another year.
Joe Gallant, Tony Visco, why?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, he's an excellent football player. Number two, he's Italian. And, I guess.
You want to keep him away from Ferragelli, then. I guess that's the answer.
I guess there are a few other paisans over here that I didn't trust, so we wanted to grab him because we said we'd take the best athlete available, and maybe he isn't an immediate need, but he is certainly a fine football player.
Do you expect to get him this year, or do you think you might have to wait a season for him?
Well, we'd like to get him this year, but I think that's up to him, and we'll have some conversations and see how it comes out.
Did you have some other options other than Visco? Were you looking perhaps at your offensive line now that Glenn Leonard is retired?
Well, we were looking at, of course, all positions, and we rated them. Coach Matthews, Roy Shivers, and Gordon Cahill came up with some strong ratings, and Visco was the guy at the top of the list, so that's the way we went.
All right, Joe, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Joe Gallant, General Manager, British Columbia Lions.
Okay, so Tony Visco, linebacker from Purdue, goes to the BC Lions. Are you surprised at that choice?
Well, I think Larry Clarkson might have gone before Todd Storm. That's the one that really surprised me, the 3rd pick by Edmonton. But I think these are the quality football players. They're prepared to wait, these teams who have drafted so far, for the quality athlete. These people are impact people who can make a difference if you wait for them. And if they come back, they can really do a job for you.
Now we move to the Calgary Stampeders' choice. Some suggest they'd be looking at a wide receiver. A couple of good receivers in the crop this year. And Clarkson is still looming there, the giant-sized offensive lineman with a strong potential of heading to the National Football League. I mean, he is 6'7" and big in stature elsewhere.
Your first comment, wide receiver, is something that they'll be looking at. They'll be wanting to add a Canadian receiver. They have 3 excellent import receivers. Offensive line is another area. And with Visco gone, they will not draft a linebacker, I don't believe.
All right, so we're looking for the Calgary Stampeders. Their draft pick coming up right now. And look for a wide receiver, says John Michelin.
Or offensive lineman.
Calgary Stampeders have the next pick in the first round, and I'd call on Earl Lunsford.
Calgary Stampeders select Rocco Romano, offensive lineman from Concordia.
Rocco Romano. So, you threw in the qualifier and you said or an offensive lineman.
Yeah, this is a good, tough kid, and doesn't he look like Peter Giftopoulos or Peter Della Riva? He played with Giftopoulos, the fine linebacker at Penn State.
He finished off in grand style. Rocco Romano was a Quebec Conference All-Star at Concordia and won national recognition as an offensive lineman. He was All-Canadian as well. 6'4", 265. Romano fits the mold perfectly.
Now we'll see if he fits the sweater perfectly.
Now another 87 for 1987. He's a Hamilton kid, and 2 of the first 5 people have been from the Hamilton area. Tony Visco, who was picked 4th, is from Burlington. Rocco's a Hamilton kid from Cathedral High School.
You know, as we had breakfast this morning, Al Bruno was talking a little bit about Rocco Romano. Like the Italian heritage, too.
Yeah,
I'm
wonderful.
Sure.
Visco and Romano are both gone now.
And I'm sure the hometown aspect of Rocco Romano had something to do with the Tiger Cats' interest this morning. I see Mr. Bruno over there scratching his head a little bit at this particular point in time as Romano slides neatly into the sweater of the Calgary Stampeders. Peter?
Rocco Romano, Calgary Stampeders. Has a nice feel to it.
It sure does. I'm really pleased to be chosen by the Calgary Stampeders. I'd like to thank them for choosing me, and I hope to contribute as much as I can to the club in whichever way I can.
2 of the top 5 selections are out of the Hamilton High School area originally. Is that just coincidence?
No, Hamilton has a really good high school of football, and I think it's growing and growing day by day, and I'm really glad to come from Hamilton.
Your year at Concordia, describe the kind of career that you had there in this past season. The team didn't do as well, I know, as you would have liked, but you yourself played pretty good.
Well, we had a very young team, and I thought that was the big problem with our team this year. We had a lot of rookies. But as a veteran, I tried to lead them, and I had a very good season.
And you're picking a good time to be going to Calgary with the kind of upbeat season that they had last year.
Yes, I'm very glad to be chosen by Calgary, and as I said, I'll try to help them as much as I can, if I can.
Great player. Rocco Romano, good luck in the Calgary Stampede organization.
So the next choice belongs to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. John, who do you think they're looking at? Who do you think they'd really want to have? There's some wide receivers still available.
Yeah, I think that's maybe where they're going to go. Joe Germain is a pretty tough receiver, maybe the best receiver in the draft. They may be looking at an offensive lineman. They've still got Larry Clarkson, who many people felt, including Joe Womack, I'm sure, Clarkson's a real football player. Nobody wanting to take a chance, I guess, on the future of him.
Joe Womack has joined me here quickly. Joe, can you just give us a little feeling, your idea on the draft so far? Are there major surprises in your mind?
Well, I think, along with what John said, the surprise is Todd Storm, that he went in the 3rd pick to Edmonton. But I'm a little surprised Larry Clarkson hasn't gone yet.
Larry Clarkson, the name keeps coming up, and the stats are very impressive on Larry Clarkson. University of Montana, 6'7", 305 pounds, but he has one more year. It's one more year for the native of Kamloops, British Columbia. So we await now the Winnipeg Blue Bombers pick, and that should be coming up shortly. Cal Murphy a little bit by himself up there at the table. Here's the commissioner once more.
The next first-round pick belongs to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and I would call on General Manager Cal Murphy to make that selection.
Mr. Commissioner, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers select defensive lineman Andrew McConnell from St. Francis Xavier.
So McConnell, St. X goes to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now this guy is strong, he is big, and he is very, very tough.
He has dislocated his elbow twice, but after a shower at the evaluation camp in Vancouver, he bench pressed over 500 pounds. He did 40 reps of 225 pounds. He's a long snapper, and if he can play center, it might be an added bonus for the Bombers.
The 6'3", 270-pound graduate of St. Francis is rated as the top defensive lineman in the draft. Speed and strength are Andrew McConnell's 2 best assets. In 4 years with the X-Men, McConnell made Conference All-Star on 2 occasions. He has good range and the ability to get to a quarterback on time. He was All-Canadian defensive lineman in '85 and again in '86. The potential is there for Andrew McConnell from St. X to make a name for himself as a top defensive lineman in the CFL.
McConnell trying on the sweater, and there's a beaming Cal Murphy looking on. first defensive lineman chosen in the draft. He was rated as the top.
We talked about Winnipeg needing an offensive lineman. I think McConnell has the ability to go both ways. They may be taking a crack at him on offense, but yes, he is a defensive lineman.
He did play a little center while playing high school. Peter?
Andrew McConnell, there are 6 or 7 of your roommates in that awful-looking house down in Antigonish who are probably looking in today. Anything to tell them?
Well, when you play football, it's a team game, and you're only as good as the people that you play with. And I owe my teammates, God, my family a lot for giving me the opportunity to play professional football. I'd like to thank them all very much.
You still attacking that weight room as much as you did last October when we were down in Antigonish to see you?
Well, preparation is very important in anything you're going to do. And if you're going to try and play professional football, you should work as hard as you can at it. And weights is a very important part of football, and training is also. So, of course, you go after it as hard as you can.
What were your thoughts when you were on your way in from Antigonish yesterday about where you might wind up and what your pro career might be like?
Basically, I was just honored to be selected to come up here and get a chance to be with all these great football players and people that love the game as much as I do. And I didn't really care where I went. I was just happy to have a chance to play. I didn't care what round I went into or where I was. I just enjoy playing football. And wherever I can play and help a team as much as I can, I'll go anywhere and play anywhere.
Did you think it might be Winnipeg?
No, I didn't.
Did you have an inkling of where it might be?
No. Like I said, I was going to play anywhere I was selected, and I'm just happy and I'm honored to be here in front of my family, God, and hopefully my teammates watching.
All right. Well, John Michaluk seems to think that maybe you're a long snap center and maybe might play a little offense. I don't know if Cal Murphy is prepared to smile and say nothing more than that right now. Ever played any offense?
In high school. And I did long snap a couple times in university, but it's something I'm going to have to work on. Like I said, I'm prepared to do anything to help the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as much as I can.
I don't know if Cal can help us out or not, but John, Andrew says he has done a little bit of it before, so we'll see what happens when training camp begins. Best of luck in Winnipeg.
Thank you very much.
Andrew McConnell.
Interesting, John Michaluk. You played a little fullback in high school, too. Can you imagine a 295-pound fullback who came in?
He's heavy. He's also an alternate on the Canadian powerlifting team.
All right, let's scan the board right now. And if you've joined us a little bit late, we'll point out that Leo Groenwagen is the #1 choice of the Ottawa Rough Riders, and Blake Marshall goes #2 to the Edmonton Eskimos. The Eskimos, with their 2nd pick from Saskatchewan, took Todd Storm, another offensive lineman. Tony Visco is going to the BC Lions via the Toronto Argonauts. It was the Lions pick from Toronto. Rocco Romano to the Calgary Stampeders. We just saw Andrew McConnell, a giant-sized defensive lineman who was chosen by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That brings us up to the BC Lions, which will be their 2nd pick, 1st round. This is the Lions' legitimate pick. The earlier pick was on a trade from the Toronto Argonauts. So what do the Lions look at here? We've got some receivers. We've got some players from UBC available as well.
Well, they've got the 7th pick here, as you mentioned. Offensive linemen, fullbacks, defensive backs are in vogue right now.
The next 1st-round pick is the original 1st-round pick of the British Columbia Lions, and I'd call on General Manager Joe Galat.
Mr. Commissioner, the British Columbia Lions select from the University of Montana, 6'7", 290-pound offensive lineman Larry Clarkson.
So there goes Clarkson. He is the giant-sized offensive lineman, currently 1 more year to play of American college football, and he may be the tough guy to sign.
He's at the University of Montana, and while he may not be Italian, Galat will have to look up to this guy. He's a real football player and can get the job done.
Peter?
Joe Galat, Mr. Clarkson is the biggest specimen in this draft and a great football player. The question is now, when and will he be available?
Well, you know, the BC Lions have had some good fortune with players of this caliber. We've got Jim Mills, who was originally a very big, good, strong lineman, and he came back to us. Ian Sinclair, basically in the same situation. So we just felt that he was a good football player. He was a guy that really could have some impact protecting our quarterbacks, and we had to choose him.
He plays in the Big Sky Conference, which is basically a passing conference. How does that impact on making him a draft pick at the offensive tackle position?
Well, I think we've known a lot about him. We got a good background on him because he's from Abbotsford. He's a youngster who Larry Donovan coached when he was one of our assistant coaches, coached him at the University of Montana. We've had a good book on him. We know everything about him. And I think playing in a league where they do a lot of passing, he's familiar with pass protection. He knows the game. We'd like to have a guy who can help us in pass protection. I think he's solid in that department.
And we've already talked about the fact that you've lost Glenn Leonard to retirement, so you have at least one gap to fill in your offensive line.
Well, the retirement of Leonard will hurt us because he's a super ball player. He's done a good job for us, and you have to look at those situations, and that was one of the factors involved in this selection.
If you can't get Clarkson right away, do you have some people who can step in and play at that spot until or perhaps when Clarkson is available to you?
Well, we'd like to have the competition at training camp that it looks like on paper we will have, and it doesn't mean that Clarkson could step in and fill that position because we've got some good backup people who are waiting their turn to get into the lineup. So hopefully this will add some more competition. We'll have a good training camp.
All right, Joe, thanks for coming by.
You're welcome.
So the BC Lions have taken Clarkson. He is the giant-sized specimen. Now, Joe Womack, just quickly, is he the best player who was available, the most talented player available on the draft, Clarkson?
In my opinion, I think so, John. Just with his size alone and the competition that he plays with in the Big Sky, I think would project him in that manner.
John Michalek, big surprises yet? We got to go quickly.
Well, I think we're going to look at Edmonton's third choice in the first round. They've already taken a fullback and an offensive lineman, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with their third in the first round.
Any inkling at all? Wide receiver, defensive back, you got to go quick.
Another kid from Abbotsford, wide receiver Joe Germain.
All right, the Eskimos' third pick, first round, is up and coming.
1984, George Orwell would have liked this guy. The Edmonton Eskimos used their third of 3 first-round picks that year to take this man, Ivan the Terrible, John Mandrich, a golden flash from Kent State University. Storybook memory, Paul Osbaldiston, a kicker and a punter who attended Western Montana, and on the last pick of the 7th round, the 63rd pick overall, only 9 choices from the bottom came Osbaldiston, the Tiger Cats' record-setting Grey Cup hero. Out there somewhere today is another sleeper, another hero waiting to be discovered.
Interesting as we look back, Paul Osbaldiston was Paul Who much of last season in the Canadian Football League. He really was. He stopped in British Columbia, stopped in Winnipeg, found a home in Hamilton, and became Paul Osbaldiston.
And the hero of the 1986 Grey Cup, John. Just an outstanding young football player. 63rd choice, as we mentioned, in that little memory bit, and a real nice person.
Every once in a while, somebody comes from out of the pack. We're still in the first round, Canadian College Draft 1987, here live in Ottawa. And we move to the Edmonton Eskimos' third pick, first round, and this is the Eskimos' original draft position. So who do they look at right now?
If you're looking for wide receivers, Joe Germain and Paul Shorten are your choices. If you're looking for a defensive lineman, David Braithwaite is around. If you're looking for a defensive back, Kyle Hall or Mark Norman. I think that they'll look at either Braithwaite, the defensive lineman, or Joe Germain, the wide receiver.
What about a deep back if Lauren Delorier is still in difficult problems coming back from injuries?
That's an interesting point, John. He does have some difficulties. Mark Norman, Kyle Hall, as I mentioned, are good choices at DB.
All right, let's go to the Edmonton Eskimos draft table right now. First, the Commissioner.
The next choice belongs to the Edmonton Eskimos. It is their original first-round pick. The 2 earlier ones they had acquired in trades. Call on Hugh Campbell, the Edmonton Eskimos.
Mr. Commissioner, with your permission, I would like to defer our choice to the Montreal Alouettes.
So,
Choice to the Montreal Alouettes.
the Alouettes are going to get a first-round pick, which
Call on Normal then of the Montreal Alouettes to make the
they
next
had
selection.
traded to Edmonton. So a little
couple of old buddies, Campbell and Kimball.
How pleased I am to be able to select in the first round.
What'd you give up, Norm?
We are very pleased to select Matthew Sallow, an offensive center from Bishop University, 6'2", 235 pounds.
Matthew Sallow from Bishop's University.
The very best long snapper in the draft and another offensive lineman. That means that we're up to 5 offensive linemen here in the first round. A great long snapper.
Look at the smile on Kimball's face, Peter. He's a happy guy.
Ask him what he gave up.
Well, I did, and he won't tell me, so that's why he's
natural
smiling.
for him.
Okay, Peter. Matthew Sallow, Bishop's University. The Montreal Alouettes did not think they were going to have a pick in the first round. Look at this. John Michalek, they do have a sweater ready, so maybe this deal had been at least dreamed about by Norm Kimball, but It was interesting as the Montreal Alouettes went into this draft. They had already traded their first pick to the Edmonton Eskimos, which was the second pick overall. That was a 1986 deal that saw Brian Ransom leave the Eskimo organization to go to the Montreal Alouettes. But the Alouettes get a pick in the first round.
Well, they had those 4 people picked in the reverse draft as well, of average kind of selections by Kimball, but Salo's a player.
All right.
Just for a second.
Peter's making his way over to talk to Salo now. Pete?
All right, John. Matthew Salo, part of a great story at Bishop's University last fall. Some good memories, I'm sure, of your years with the Gators.
Yeah, I got to thank the rest of the team and especially the coaching staff for giving us a good season and providing the fact that I get added recognition to put me in this position right now.
Surprised to be standing here on the podium as a first-round draft pick?
You got that right.
You have a lot of experience as a third down long snap center, and I take it that that's, I don't know if you know that, that Montreal was looking for somebody like that, but I think that's one of the reasons why they thought as highly of you as they do.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank Mo Brimner for showing me how to do it, actually. And every day we practice specialty teams, so we get the practice in, and there you go, eh? That's it.
Congratulations. Best of luck in Montreal. Matthew Salo.
John, I saw a big smile on your face there. What else do you know about this young man, Salo?
Well, I know he can do the long snapping job, and he's a very physical football player. It is a big surprise, Campbell giving up to his old friend Kimball this break.
All right, it is a bit of a break. Last pick, first round, goes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
We'll be back with the next selection.
What do you think the Tiger Cats are looking most interestedly at right now?
They need somebody at offense. That's where they'll want to pick, not defense. And, of course, the choices may be wide receiver Joe Germain. He looks like perhaps the best bet to be the choice of the Tiger Cats.
Jeff Johnson, running back, Cornell University.
Now, that's an interesting one. It could be Jeff Johnson. I went to school with his father, Tom, and that could be a choice.
All right, there is a situation that the Hamilton Tiger Cats get to make their choice right now. This is the final choice of round number 1.
The next first-round pick belongs to the Grey Cup champion Hamilton Tiger Cats. I call on General Manager Joe Zucker to make that selection.
Grey Cup champion Hamilton Tiger Cats are pleased to select Joe Germain, wide receiver, Simon Fraser.
Joe Germain. Some outstanding abilities as a wide receiver. And Simon Fraser University has another first-round draft pick.
I think, really, the Tiger Cats are surprised that Germain was around this long. He's a good football player, can help them at wide receiver, has some speed. I spent some time chatting with him, and Al Bruno and the rest of his boys will like young Germain.
He is a wide receiver with a future. Joe Germain amassed some impressive totals in 4 years at SFU, over 2,300 yards. He has the 3 qualities of a fine wide receiver: the hands, finesse, and quickness. Please welcome Joe Germain.
Joe Zucker, Joe Germain, Al Bruno. And Germain is the 9th pick overall, and the final pick in the first round going to the Grey Cup champion Hamilton Tiger Cats. What are they saying when they go to a Canadian wide receiver at this point? Rocky DiPietro is there. Excellent skills, an all-star again last year.
Steve Jackson, Dave Lee, a couple of people who are also quality receivers for the Tiger Cats. They like Germain because he's a future. Rocky's there. He's an 11-year vet, a Canadian all-star. But they want to get ready. This guy can catch the ball inside, and he can also play a little wide receiver.
He's a good one.
One word very quickly from the general manager. Joe, were you surprised that Joe Germain was available as the 9th pick in the round?
Well, we figured somebody would have to be available. We were pretty pleased to be the last selection under the conditions. So, no, we're happy to get Joe. We know he was a productive receiver, and we're looking forward to the opportunity of seeing Joe in camp, and hope all the reports about him he lives up to. So we're really pleased.
Thanks, Joe. Joe Germain steps in to say hello. And Joe, one of the, well, first of all, let's begin with the fact that you're the latest in a long line of distinguished graduates from Simon Fraser University. I know that makes you very happy.
Yeah, well, they got a good school there, producing a lot of great players out of there, and I was just happy to be one of them.
How were you used at Simon Fraser?
I was used as a wideout because we're American schools, but I was used more of a short, get about a 5-yard, 6-yard pass, and just run and get as much as I could, I guess, 5 more.
Any thoughts about going to Hamilton? Are you surprised, or did you really expect to be there?
I'm surprised, yeah. I'm really happy to be here and happy to be going there. Good organization, Grey Cup champ, so who knows.
Good place to start. Might as well be there as anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Joe Germain going to the Hamilton Ticats.
There have been a few surprises here this afternoon, and I'd like John Michalak to just run down the list. The first round is now complete in this 1987 CFL College Draft. What is the biggest surprise?
Well, unquestionably, Todd Storm being drafted 3rd, and then I think the surprising move on the part of the Edmonton Eskimos to give the 8th choice to Montreal, who took Matthew Sallow. He's a good football player. Joe Germain being around that long is a bit of a surprise. Rocco Romano going that early. 5 offensive linemen, 1 fullback, 1 defensive back, 1 defensive lineman, 1 wide receiver. Joe Womack had it right. Offensive linemen were the thing in this draft.
Well, we did know that offensive linemen would be very prominent in the draft, and really 6 of the top 16 players who graded out were offensive linemen. So that part is not all that strange. I suppose one thing you do look at is what the teams chose. Now, teams will say they will go for the best athlete available at the time, but did everybody help themselves who had a shot at helping themselves in the first round?
I think they did, John. I guess I'm a little surprised at those choices that I mentioned earlier. I think all of the people selected in the first round are good quality football players that will have to beat up on veterans in their place.
All right, more thoughts from John Michalak and John Wells here at the 1987 CFL Canadian College Draft when we continue after this.
1983 had some very fond memories. Ray Elgard was Saskatchewan's 2nd round pick, the 12th overall that year. Born in Edmonton and a star at the University of Utah. A tough nut and a guy who gets tougher as the pressure builds. His nickname's Harley because he wears black t-shirts to practice, but on game days he's all green and a star with the Roughies of Saskatchewan.
We're back live at the Westin in the nation's capital, Ottawa, this afternoon for the 1987 CFL Canadian College Draft. Joe Womack, as you look at the players selected in the first round, the 9 players of the first round, how did you see it? Are you surprised? And give me a thought on some of the players who might have been overlooked, in your opinion.
Well, all of these guys are my kids. I've been with them all year, and I've brought them out to the evaluation camp, so I'm really excited for this to be going on. I'm a little surprised at Todd Storm, as John and you related a little bit earlier, and I'm a little surprised at Matthew Sallow going as early as he did, although I think he's a fine prospect. The players that I think we need to look at now quite quickly would be Paul Shorten, a wide receiver at University of Toronto, Jeff Johnson, a fullback at Cornell, and Mark Norman, the fine defensive back at UBC.
Okay, John, can you think of any other players that might go early here in the second round?
I think David Braithwaite has a chance at it. 6'2", 245, a defensive lineman from Toronto. I think Kyle Hall, a defensive back from Western, would be other people that would supplement the list that Joe has. He has all of those people wired, and I'm sure that they all can play.
It became very interesting this afternoon. As soon as we got the #1 pick out of the way by the Ottawa Rough Riders, very little suspense. After that, they had us fooled just a little bit.
Well, yes. I think we recognized early, though, that Edmonton controlled the oxygen supply, and that they did, including their surprise move over to Montreal in the 8th choice of this draft. It was good.
Okay, let's go to Peter Watts.
His Worship, the Mayor of Ottawa, Jim Durrell, has joined me now, and the first assessment of the drafting of Leo Groenwagen by the Ottawa Rough Riders is a ringing endorsement from your part.
Oh, no question, Peter. He's a very, very fine young man, and not only will he do our city very proud, but I think he'll do the whole CFL exactly the same. It's the type of individual that you need, I think, for the CFL to grow and prosper, so we're delighted to have him here.
This has been a pretty good 10 days for the Ottawa Rough Riders. 4 new players in the dispersal draft, and then a new head coach, and now the #1 draft pick, Leo Groenwagen.
It's not only been an exciting 10 days, it's been an exciting several months, and I think we have put together the best management and coaching staff in the league. And I say that with a degree of bias, obviously, but it's being reflected now throughout the draft, and we're going to see a lot of very good things happen to Ottawa in this season.
I think the city of Ottawa and the people here can take a bow for the job they've done putting this event together.
Well, we've had many people organized. Hap Nickel put on the All-Star Dinner last night, and 1,000 people were there, as you were aware, and it was extremely successful, and we have a beautiful day here in Ottawa, and we have a packed room. So, again, I think it augurs very well for our sports fans.
Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Mayor Jim Durrell. John?
Some very positive aspects for the Ottawa Rough Riders. They get a good player. They're #1 in the draft this year by virtue of last year. But the dispersal draft, it looks pretty bright for football in this town.
Yes, it does. The athletes were picked here today. Training camp will determine who the players are. That's when it's really important. These are good, talented, young, strong Canadian kids. Dreams have been realized today, I'm sure.
We'll see if those dreams become realities. Thanks for joining us.